Hello there, I'm Javier and welcome to my Imperfect kitchen. Although this is actually a bedroom, I mean, you can even see the pillow here. So why I'm filming here is because there's really insufficient space in my kitchen. It's pretty cramped. So I'll be filming here instead to show you the full recipe. So today we'll be making this recipe of mine named the banana blondies. So blondies to me are actually something like, you can visualize it, it's just like brownies but without the chocolate. So it's still very moist and it's very easy to enjoy. And why I like this recipe a lot is because the fragrance of the banana is really strong in a good way here, although strong is technically not a very pleasant way to say it. So let me now run you through the recipe, but please forgive me in advance, I'll be reading through the laptop a lot. This recipe is actually written on my blog originally, so I actually want to empathize and know how do my readers feel when they read through my recipes. If I can follow the instructions here exactly, then it will also serve as a good gauge of how well you can follow my recipes. So yeah, so let's get started. So for here, I actually have my all-purpose flour, 2 sugars, brown and white. I'm not so sure if you can see it clearly here. 1 egg at room temperature, 1 large egg that is. Vanilla essence, you can actually use any brand. I just have some mashed bananas. What you can do is actually I use the back of a fork here and just mash it. Some salt for flavoring, especially when the banana is so sweet. The saltiness actually creates a contrast for the sweetness to stand out. And after which I also have, of course, my unsalted melted butter. Not sure you can see here, I don't want to spill this, make sure. It's going to be so difficult to clean up. So okay, let me get started. So the first step will be, of course, to preheat your oven to 350 and line your 8x8 inch baking tray with parchment paper. There's actually a lot of ways you can line your tray with parchment paper, and why I like to do this is because I want an easy remover. So let's get started with the next step. The next step I will actually be combining the melted butter, I'm sorry. The melted butter with the 2 sugars, and I'm just going to mix it together. Yeah. So you will really want to just keep stirring until you are able to obtain a single consistency. And there you have it. Something like this. And next, what I would like to do is actually to add in the egg and the mashed bananas. So yeah, let me move this aside. So what I like to do is I like to mix in the egg first before I add in the banana, so that the egg can actually mix well with the sugars and the butter. So you just want to do this, you will stir for actually about a couple of minutes until you form a single consistency and you won't actually see any dark yellow streaks of the egg yolk. So let me show you. This is actually what you want. And proceeding with, of course, the mashed bananas. So I'm just going to add the mashed bananas in now. Along with the mashed bananas, I'm actually going to add in my vanilla essence and my salt. So my recipe actually stated for vanilla extract. So for vanilla extract, of course, it's of higher quality, but I'll have to admit it, I can't afford that. I feel that there's really not much difference between vanilla extract and vanilla essence, especially in recipes like this where you actually only need a very small amount. So even though what happened here is that the vanilla extract is 1/4 teaspoon, but when you're using vanilla essence, you will have to add double the amount, so I'm using 1/2 teaspoon instead. Proceeding which, you will want to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Oh, the exact proportion of all the ingredients will actually be on my blog, link down below. So actually I'm just going to use a pinch here. Just a small pinch will do. But if you measure exactly, it should be about 1/4 teaspoon. Then I just stir and mix all of them in. So yeah, let me show you a close-up of this. This is how it look like here. I know what you might think. You might, I don't know. Once one of my family member actually thought it looks like puke. So yeah, it might look like puke, but it will turn out to be really delicious. Really delicious puke, no, banana blondies. So here I'm just going to add in my all-purpose flour, and you don't really have to sieve it prior. I mean, so why you don't have to sieve it prior is because what happened here is I'm going to mix in using a whisk. So the whisk will actually help to break up the flour particles. But if you do not have, you're not planning to use a whisk and you're just planning to use a spoon throughout, I will actually strongly recommend you to go and sieve your flour. So if you ask me, is there a difference between mixing in using a spoon and a whisk? There is a difference here because we want to break up the lumps within the flour, and you do not want the person you're giving these blondies to actually taste the bitter clumps of flour. That is really unpleasant, and it has happened to me before. So instead here, I'm actually just going to whisk it. Just give it a good whisk, and you really don't want to over mix it or you actually develop the gluten, or simply put, if you over whisk this will actually become a lot like bread. So let me show you a close-up right now. This is the consistency of the banana blondie that you want, and you'll notice that there are no longer any clumps of flour. You will also notice some clumps of banana, and that is perfectly normal. Okay, see, yeah, this is the consistency. And now I'm going to empty the whole batter into my 8x8-inch baking tray. So now that I'm finally done, I will now empty it. Yeah, so just pour the whole thing in. I'm trying not to make a mess here. I don't want my paper to be dirty. So voila, I'm actually done mixing. So and of course putting it into my pan. So now what I'm going to do is just hit it a few times. What hitting the counter does is actually to dislodge the excessive air, especially sometimes you'll notice that your cakes actually have small little holes that you feel look ugly. That is because there's a lot of excessive air stuck inside. So what this hitting against the counter or even the floor does is to dislodge all the excessive air, plus it has a double effect of evening out the layer of the batter. Yeah, now that I'm done, I'll be placing it into my oven for about 22 to 24 minutes, and I'll show you when it's done. Now that I'm done with the baking, I'm going to show you how it will look like. So this is how it will look like. You can even see that there are actually the lumps of banana that we didn't completely disintegrate into the batter, and I feel that that makes it more visually appealing, but that might be just me. So if you don't want something like this, you can mash it even finer. So after which, right, some modifications you can make to this cake include adding chocolate chips and spices such as cinnamon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the cake up, and I'm going to show you the final product, including the cross section of the cake, to show you how moist it actually is. I'm done with the cutting, and now let me show you. This is how it looks like on the top, and this is the cross section. You can see that it's really more on the chewy and dense side. I really like the taste of these banana blondies, and the smell in my house right now is really amazing, the fragrance of the bananas. So with that, once again, the link to my to the blog containing the recipe is down below in the description box. This is how you do it, like point. So here, if you have any questions, any feedback, feel free to comment down below or on any of my social media. So yeah, with that, goodbye, and maybe I think see you next week. Yeah, bye. Have a nice day.